Yo, what up, what up? It's your man, Big Brandon Carter. We talk about bicep training and some different techniques. But first, I want to give a shout out. Give a shout out, man, to the homie Cody Jefferson. My man got ripped. Look what he said. He had sent this on Instagram to me just like not long ago. He got ripped, taking Rebellion T-Rex and following my workouts, man. Shout out. I always post these on my Instagram, B Carter Music, so if you want to see some more transformations, check that out. And if you got some transformations, send them to me. I get them kind of all the time, man. Like let's do a 1 year transformation. The homie, what's this dude's name? Will Powers. I don't think that's his real name, but that's his Instagram name, Will Powers. He sent that shit to me. So anyway, if you want to get ripped like them, check out my full body blitz program. It is really great fat burning protocol. I break down everything you need to know to burn fat as quickly as possible. Now let's get into this bicep training. Some people, like my homie Greg O'Gallagher, they like to get that swing in, right? Arnold did a lot of this, right? Like he would do cheat curls, right? And this is how they get they get like a load that's like crazy heavy, and they do a swing, right? And the reason that can be an effective strategy because what it basically does is it turns the bicep curl into a compound exercise, meaning you're using more muscles instead of just the bicep. Like a bicep curl, a strict bicep curl is an isolation movement, meaning it isolates the muscle. So as you can see, a bicep curl like this, it's isolated. The only muscle being contracted is really my bicep. It isolates it. Now when you do a cheat curl, it's effective because you can load up like a ridiculous amount of weight, probably more weight than you can handle with a strict bicep curl, and you turn it into a compound movement, and that's effective because you can make the load larger. But I just think if you're going to do bicep curls, this is just my protocol. This is what works for me. Help get my arms to 18.5 inches. Is when I do the compound exercise, make them compound exercise like rows, or I would just like bent over rows. Just do bent over rows. Right? That's a compound exercise I do, and the biceps we worked, or pull-ups or chin-ups. But when I get to curls, that's when I isolate. But that's just me. Greg, he does this. Arnold used to do this. He didn't call them bicep curls, though. When Arnold did it, he called it cheat curls, which is what it is. It's not a bicep curl, it's a cheat curl. I don't really do cheat curls. The homie Bradley Martin, he gets like a crazy amount of weight, more weight than he can really curl. And that's not a diss. That's what he said in his video. He pops it up like this and then lowers it slow. So he focuses on the eccentric because you can lower more weight than you can lift always. So he'll pop it up with his knees and then just lower it. And that's effective strategy too for almost any exercise. Like when people can't do muscle ups, I have them jump into it and then come down slower, and then sometimes they get strong enough to do the muscle up or a chin up. Or somebody, especially women, if they can't do pull-ups, we'll have them like jump into it and then do the negatives down, and then they get stronger. So that's an effective way, especially for gaining a lot of strength. So I don't know what he calls them, man, but I'm gonna call them pop curls. All right. Where a lot of people mess up with their bicep training is they don't have anything that has a rotation of the wrist, right? You want to get that rotation. You want to have at least one exercise where there's a rotation. Cause like, look at my bicep. I'm not flexing, all I'm doing is turning my wrist because your bicep is responsible for that movement. So if you're only doing a static movement like this, you're missing out on a lot of the biceps capabilities. A lot of you guys' arms will get bigger immediately if you just add some sort of rotation movement into your bicep training. A good one I like to call Carter curls. You come up and then bring the other one up and hold them, then bring the first one down, and then there's always one up, right? Traditional alternating curls, there's always one down, right? So you get rest while the other one's down. When you're doing Carter curls, you go up and leave it up, and there's always one up, and that way there's more time under tension. You won't be able to lift as much. So if your main concern is getting as strong as you want to, then Carter curls aren't for you because this you won't be able to lift much, but the time under tension will cause more hypertrophy and allow your muscles to get actually bigger. This is my favorite bicep movement of all time, rope curls on a machine like this, and I do drop sets. So Get a weight you're comfortable with. As you can see, I just took it all of it. And I come up and then I get that rotation with this. So I still get that rotation, but it's like with a rope curl. All right, so check it out. So I'll go, but then I do drop sets. So I'll get like maybe like the whole fucking stack and do a few of these. Let's just say I did 6, right? And maybe, or just go to failure till you can't do any with perfect form. And instead of cheating, you just lower the weight. And then keep going. And then I go to failure again. Let's just say that's failure. And then instead of cheating, I lower the weight. And you do that about 3 times and then rest. Now, the reason I do that instead of cheating is because when you start cheating, when you can't do proper form, or if you have someone to help you, you're taking the load off the bicep by using your back or lifting, or your delts, or you're using other muscles besides your bicep to lift the load, to lift the weight. And you're actually making the load lighter on your bicep because other muscles are helping. So instead of using other muscles to make the load lighter, just make the fucking load lighter. You know what I'm saying? Like, just lower the weight. It's the same thing. Like if you're doing curls and you have a spotter and you hit failure, you have a spotter help you lift those last 2 or 3, he's lowering the load that your bicep is lifting. I'd just rather lower the fucking load in real life instead of using other muscles or another person to assist me. Because a lot of times, not all the time, when people start cheating, they're really lifting more than the bicep can handle. So that's how you get a lot of injuries. You get a lot of form transmitted diseases, a FTD. It's like a pulled muscle, tendonitis. You need protection. You gotta use protection. You can't be going all raw. You gotta get protection, man, so you don't get one of these FTDs. So I just lower the weight, keep my form immaculate the whole time. Let me demonstrate in real time how this would look. So let's just say, so this is what it's like. I like to get a nice contraction at the top and lower slow. I don't lower it too slow, right? But I control it coming down. You see, I'm not doing this. I'm not lifting like this. It's strict. Strict form, textbook example. Get a full extension. A lot of people, when they do cheat curls, they don't get a full extension either. Why? Because it makes it easier. All right? I could lift more, but my form would degrade. So instead, I just lower the weight. That way I can keep immaculate form, because it's an isolation exercise. So I just isolate. And what's cool about this method is you get the benefits of going heavy on your first set, but you also get the benefits of high rep. So you get both forms of hypertrophy. That's how I be, man. Then you get the stupid pump like this. So that's why I like strict form when I'm doing biceps, because I like to isolate the muscle. Other people have different methods, and that's cool. Whatever works for you, works for you. I just want to show you my method. There's more than one way. I'm not saying this is the only way. Every time I say this is how I do it, some people want to say, oh, Arnold did like this, or so-and-so does like this. I'm like, listen, just because 4 + 4 = 8 doesn't mean that 2 + 6 doesn't equal 8. You know what I'm saying? There's infinite equations that will equal 8. And you actually do yourself a disservice by deliberately placing limitations on the amounts of equations you use to get there. I'm kind of just rambling right now because I'm lightheaded. Anyway, it's bicep training with your nigga Big Brandon. If you want to learn how to build biceps without weights, you can check out my bodyweight program, brandoncarter.com/bodyweight. If you're trying to get ripped like a motherfucker, check out my Burn Fat Fast program, man. Get ripped like the dudes I showed you in the beginning. All right, peace.